Hi, I'm your host, John Pope, and this is episode number 3 of 100% Podcast. Today, I'm very excited to have a good friend of mine here today in the office, a legend here in the Houston community. Legend in the making, that's right. Tyrus Carothers. He's the owner of Tyrus Media Group.
Mm-hmm.
He's a banker at Frost Bank. He's a community leader. He is involved with an organization called A New Open Door Ministry, and he also heads up Pope Corporation's Feed the 5,000 campaign.
Man, that's a lot. When you say it out loud, it's a lot. That's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
Happy to have you here today, though.
Thank you. I appreciate you for having me on the show. I appreciate you.
Obviously, we've got a good friendship. We know each other well, but I was hoping you could tell the viewers a little bit about where you came from, a little bit more about your background.
A lot where I came from. I do, first of all, I got to say, I give all honor to God in the situations like this. God is the only one who has allowed me to be where I'm at in life, and the decisions I have made in the past weren't good decisions, but God still kept me in those decisions. Well, a little bit of background about me. I grew up in the church world, and I got to love God, got to love His people, so I got to do things like that. So helping the community has always been something that's on my heart, and I believe that's because my grandmother instilled church in me when I was younger. That's all we did, church every day. That's all we did. I did have a little down moment in my life, but God did redeem me, and He's putting me in a position where I'm able to take back everything. I'm able to redeem myself. I'm able to make changes in my life, positive changes, and get to where I'm going in my life right now. So
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes we got to go through those hard times to come back stronger.
Yeah, of course. And a lot of it is self-inflicted. People go through hard times, but mine were self-inflicted hard times, just making the wrong decisions when I was younger. I'm still young now, but just making the wrong decisions. I could have been where I needed to be already, but the decisions I made when I was younger held me back from being where I needed to be. But I'm still on the path of getting to where I need to go.
Right. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that. And I want to talk a little bit about how we met. It's been an honor to get to know you. I mean, when we first met, you were working in security, and we had an instant connection. Something about you just drew me towards you, and we forged an instant friendship. We both have a desire to get better every day in life. We both are spiritual people, and we had a lot of good discussions on that, and then we just found that we had a lot in common.
We do, and that's why, again, that's why I go back to God now. It's all orchestrated by God, and because God placed you in my life. You were there to help me, and we connect with people, and God does what He does, man. I hate to speak all godly about about things, but you said we're spiritual. So I believe it was by faith that we met. Yes, we met when I was at a down moment in my life, and you helped me through that time by mentoring me and just giving me those encouraging words and making sure I'm executing my goals each and every day, and I'm able to be where I'm at in the position that I'm at right now. We did meet. I think I was security at Briar Club, sitting there at the poolside. We had the small conversations when we come in. You talk about football, and it built to a relationship that we have now. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the things that you tell me, the things that you mentor to me, even in our one-on-one conversations, because I've seen that, speaking things into the universe, it comes back to you. And I've seen it happen. You hear it and you read about it, but when you actually get to experience it, it's a great feeling.
Right, and you've been a real blessing for me as well. Working with you on helping you to achieve your goals, it also has helped me accountable towards my goals. You've helped me in my spiritual walk as well, and so it's a two-way street. And I think a lot of most relationships, really all relationships, they need to be a two-way street for it to work. And so, the fact that you put everything you have into implementing strategies and achieving your goals and having that belief in yourself, that makes it so enjoyable to work with you. But on the flip side, it helps make me more accountable to my goals and making sure that I'm practicing what I'm preaching, which has been a very important and impactful thing for me as well. I think a lot of times in life, at least speaking from personal experience, we can get so caught up and, you know, have the blinders on. Right, and so we're only going to interact with our social circle of people, you know, those people that we know, be it can be, you know, a certain race, it can be socioeconomic, it can just be, you know, divided by many different invisible lines, right? But I think when we open up our eyes and we do allow God to use us, there's so much magic that can happen. For example, this video right now, this production, you know, I've been wanting to do these type videos for a long time, but I really had no means to do it. I knew no one that produced these type of videos, and when we got to talking, that's when you told me that this is what you did. And I mean, that's just one small example of, you know, how you just you never know what, when you're going along a certain path in life and you keep your eyes open and you keep, and you're open to meeting new people, forming new relationships and new experiences, you never know what God is going to do
with those things in that area. You're right. That's absolutely correct, because, you know, when we just met, you were still filming and doing what you have to do. Now we're on a whole different level. We took the game to a different level. And you're right, there's the connections and building long-lasting relationships with people. And it's amazing how relationships can happen just through small talk and small conversations. And that's why I always talk to people when I walk past them, because you never know how somebody can help you. You never know what they have to offer. You never know what connections they have. It's always about networking, especially when you're doing something like I do, or when you're doing something, you know, like you do. Networking is a big key to getting to where we need to go.
Have you always been that way?
Yeah, I have. I have always been a networker type of person. I've always had the entrepreneur spirit in me and always wanted to do my own thing. In college, I started my own fraternity. So it's a lot of things that I did to build what I need, to go where I need to go. And that's through networking. Networking, meeting people, having those small conversations. I think that's key. Just talking to people that you walk past, because you never know what they have to offer. Going back to our conversation, we started off with small talk. We used to talk about football and the games. Then it went to, did you listen to this podcast? And what you like about this? And tell me, did you read this book? We used to talk about books that we used to read. Now we're building a relationship where we're working together on this two-way street to get to a greater good.
Right. I think a lot of people are, you know, for lack of a better word, scared to talk to new people. I mean, what advice would you give? I mean, it seems like that might come naturally to you.
Yeah, it do come naturally. At first, fear was the biggest thing that held me back. And for me, it was fear that held me back from talking to new people. Now I have somewhere to go, and I got to get to where I'm going. So can you help me? You know, when I talk to people, I talk to people not only just to talk to them, but with the mind frame of seeing what they do and seeing how they can help me, or how I can help them get to where they're going. Because a lot of people have so many good ideas, but fear holds them back from doing what they need to do. I've talked to people who have great ideas that will make millions of dollars right off the bat, but they're scared to say it, they're scared to tell people, they're scared to act on it. And I believe through small talk, we can help people get to where they need to go. And if I can't help you, if I can help you, I can help you in any way I can. If you can help me, you can help me in any way you can. And we can do this together. But fear holds a lot of people back. And that's one thing you have taught me during our mentor relationships, is not to be afraid of anything. You know, fear, we shouldn't be afraid to do what we need to do, because we can have really fun in life, but fear holds a lot of people back from having fun.
Yeah, I think it's the fear of, not only the fear of failure, but also the fear of what other people are going to say.
How they feel and what they're going to think about. Right.
Right. Even putting out videos like this, you know, I mean, you know that there's some people that like these videos, there's some that don't, and, you know, that can hold people back from really putting themselves out there. Yeah. But I would encourage, it's an empowering feeling to feel that fear and then go towards the fear. I think that's, you know, fear can also be a great indicator of what you should be doing. You know, if you're afraid to talk to a certain person, that probably means you should talk to them.
Right, right.
And so I think it's something that we can't ever completely eliminate it, but we need to feel it and then use it to our advantage.
Right, right, yeah. I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that. Another thing that you taught me about is goal setting and reaching goals and setting goals for yourself. It's funny that yesterday I was cleaning out my car, my old car, and I have my list in my car of the things that you told me to do, put down for 2018, and we're going to knock these things off the list. So I have like 11 things on my list for 2018. I think we started that in February, right? Yeah. Of the 2018 list, and I've already knocked off 5 of those things. 5 of 12 things on that list. So one thing about goal setting is once I set the goals and I get to scratch out like, man, I did that goal and I can scratch that out. It makes me hungrier. It makes me happier inside. It makes me a much happier person to know that I'm setting goals, I'm executing goals, and I'm completing them.
Right. And some of the goals you've achieved this year are major goals.
Yeah.
One, your job.
Right.
You know, you're now a banker with one of the best banks in the country, if not, Texas. Yeah. False Bank.
Definitely Texas. That's one of the big things. When you accomplish big goals, it puts a smile on your face. It makes me happier. Going back to from being sad and depressed now, I'm having a happy and an upbeat feeling now. It's different. I'm waiting. I'm like, where's the next goal we got to do? What we got to do next? What we got to do next? What's the next goal we're going to complete? And that's just due to goal setting your goals, seeing your goals, envisioning your goals, seeing them on your wall every day. I have my vision board. As soon as I wake up, I have my vision board. I don't even watch TV anymore. I have my vision board in front of my TV now. So as soon as I wake up, I see my vision board. I say, okay, I got to do this, and I have this much time to do it. So let's go ahead and knock these goals out. And that's because of what you taught me about reaching goals and setting goals for yourself and executing those goals. 3 out of those 5 goals, all 5 of them were major goals, but 3 out of the 5 goals were really major goals, financial changing goals in my life. And it makes me happy.
Yeah. Well, you've earned it. And I feel like, I feel the same way about my goals, and I feel, even where you are today, as far as you've already come, I still feel like, you're at 10% of your potential. If that. I feel the same way about myself, and I think that's hopefully we'll always feel that way.
Right.
When we reach a new goal, we'll set a higher one, and I think you got to do that to keep pushing yourself and to keep yourself motivated and inspired, to never rest on your laurels,
right.
So to speak. One thing that I'm really excited about that we've been working on together is our Feed the 5,000 campaign.
Oh yes.
Our corporation, and that really came about from a conversation too.
Yeah, that grew from a conversation. That was a conversation, vision, now we're in motion type of thing. And that's just going back to what we said earlier, that's just small talk. Not knowing that when we had our first conversation, we'll be sitting here across from each other doing the podcast with each other. And that's the good thing about it. You want to help people. I was already doing community service work. So you just needed someone on board to help you with that process. But I believe that was a good process as far as we sat down, we had a small conversation. Then you called me one day and said, you know what, let's feed 5,000 people. Let's do it. And now, we had our first, a month and a half ago, we had our first 5,000 event. We got close to fed almost 100 people. Busy event. And also, we're on our next event of giving away 500 backpacks to the community. So we're on a goal to even touch 5,000 lives, and you don't know how important that is because we get a chance to touch their lives, be a change in their lives, and help them also change their lives.
Right. So we're keeping a database of the people that attend our events,
right.
So we can we know how many children they have, we know what their names are, we know where they live, we've got their phone number, and so we can follow up with them. Try and meet any other needs that they might have, which is, I think an important part. I'd like to go back and touch on goal setting and bring up one more point, which is I think it's important to set some small goals that you can immediately start achieving in order to build momentum towards some of those larger goals. And so for me, that was the simplest things. Like, I would look at something in my house that needed to be fixed, and I'd walk by it every single day and think, gosh, I need to fix that. And the next day, I need to fix that. And I never would. And so one day I just decided, you know what? I need to start getting things done. And so all those things that I've been looking at for months or years, I started getting done. And I think you've experienced the same thing.
Yeah, I remember you telling me the story about you used to make your bed. You used to didn't make your bed. Now you make your bed every morning, and that helps you start your day of setting your goals and of accomplishing and completing your goals. And I did the same thing too. It was as simple as keeping my room clean. To be honest with you, was the first one, because I remember you saying you used to make your bed, and that's how you start setting your goals throughout the day. And completing your goals throughout the day. And that's for me too. I started cleaning my room. I'm like, okay, I got that complete. What's the next goal to do? What's the next goal to do? And like you said, you become obsessed with reaching your goals, that's all you think about. You don't have time for social media junk or any kind of other junk. Not saying it's junk, but you don't have time for that stuff anymore because you're on a mission, you're laser focused, you got to get these goals completed. And I believe that's a good thing. And that's what I like about the mentor-mentee relationship that we have grown to have. I think you have done a great job being a mentor as far as making sure, calling me every week, texting me, just send a simple text, hey, Tyrus, you reach your goal? Tell me what you're doing today. How far are you from your goal? How far are you from this goal? And I think that's a good thing about people that want to mentor. They have to make sure their mentees are reaching their goals instead of just having an hour conversation about anything, about nothing. Continuously checking on your mentee, I believe, is a good thing as far as they're making their goals, because you're holding your mentee accountable for reaching their goals. Because if I failed, that means you failed as you failed as a mentor.
Exactly.
So that's how I look at it. That's with a mentor and mentee relationship. Mentor is supposed to empower you, make you more successful, and make you reach and exceed your goals and expectations of yourself.
Right, and I think that goes into the concept of investment. You know, if I take the time to invest in you, I want to see my investment pay off, and I've got skin in the game, right? Mm-hmm. I've got skin in the game. I want to see you succeed. You know that I'm invested in you, and, right. And so that makes you want to work harder.
Right.
And I think that's important when it comes to these type relationships. And to kind of finish up here on goals, I know with Tyrus Media, you've got some big goals mm-hmm. for that company and for you personally, and I'd like to give you the opportunity to talk about that.
Well, Tyrus Media was actually one of the major goals that I accomplished this year. Honestly, I couldn't do Tyrus Media without Rafi. Couldn't do it. But with him, he's helped me, just like people, that's a two-way street that helps you do what you have to do. Even with meeting him was destiny, you know.
And just to interject here, Rafi is recording this video right now.
He's our producer. He produces everything that we do. But even just like how me and you helped, even with me and Rafi, that was a situation that I met him when I was wanting to build my own production company. And he's been very vital in Tyrus Media Group. He has everything I need. I go to him and talk to him about. But Tyrus Media is one of the biggest things that I want to do in my life, is starting my own production company. And that was one of the things I told you about it, and you told me to do it. And one thing I can say as a person I haven't made it yet, but I'm on the process to making it, is you think reaching the goal is hard, but it's really not as hard as you think it is. Starting my own business was only $15, $20. And you doing the paperwork just for starting your business, drumming up the business is nothing, but starting a business didn't really take much to do. And I don't know why it took me so long. I guess fear held me back of being rejected, what people think about it. But I'm looking to have Tyrus Media go into a great way. We're building momentum with Tyrus Media. We're doing a lot of things with Tyrus Media. Rafi is producing a lot of stuff with Film Boys. He's with Film Boys. And he's producing a lot of stuff. He helps me produce a lot of stuff with Tyrus Media. And I think with him, we'll do a great job building Tyrus Media and Film Boys.
Right. What's your ultimate vision for Tyrus Media? I mean, do you want to be like a Tyler Perry type?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind being a Tyler Perry type with Tyrus Media, producing shows, TV shows, movies, whatever, anything, doing social media content for 500 Fortune companies, anything that involves a camera, I want Tyrus Media to be a part of it.
And anybody that is interested in putting together a podcast or putting together videos, I'd really encourage you to reach out to Tyrus and Tyrus Media. He and Rafi will take great care of you, and I can attest to that. So I just want to thank you for coming in today.
I appreciate you for having me on the show.
I look forward to having you back again.
We'll definitely do this, because we have to give the people an update on Feed the 5,000.
Right, Feed the 5,000, and I'm sure they're going to want to hear on your next step and your next goals.
Goal settings, yeah.
One last thing. What is your next goal to achieve?
My next goal to achieve is to bring in $15,000 for Tyrus Media Group. That's my next goal, my next huge goal to achieve. So I'm working and I'm building on that, meeting people, networking. So that's my next goal.
Let's make that happen.
Oh, yes.
Thanks a lot, Tyrus.
No problem. Thank you.